Hey, welcome to the conversation that's as diverse as the dogs that we adore. This is Gundogs and Guard Dogs, ultimate podcast dedicated to talking sense about dogs with Les Graham and Ross McCarthy. They work with all breeds of dog, but one specialises in gun dogs and the other prefers guard dogs. No flashy trends or social media hype here, just tried and true knowledge that stands the test of time. They bring you valuable insights and honest conversations about the social predator you share your home with. So here we go. About 45 minutes of gun dogs, guard dogs, good dogs, some maybe not so good dogs, and a dash of gossip.
Here we are again with Geordie Graham.
Geordie Graham. So what do I call you? English McCarthy? Mr. English McCarthy.
Yes, that will do.
How you doing?
I'm all right, thank you very much. You what?
I got in there first.
Thank you. Yes, you did. Yes, I'm all right actually. Yes, busy this week, but how are you?
I'm good. Busy, which is good. Got a workshop in the not too distant future, which is good. Always getting ready for that.
Cool. A lot of prep in it for the workshops.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of paperwork, get the workbooks printed, plan sessions, work out the car, load the car. It's quite good because Kenny's working from home, so I don't have to take the dogs with me. I can just leave them when I have to take the dogs and the car load. It's really hard work.
It's difficult to fit in. I end up when I go away because we train at like 2 hours from me, so we stay. And I have my suitcase, everything, literally, because of the dogs are in the back of the car, all I've got is my front seat. So I have my suitcase, everything stuffed in there. Dog beds for the hotel room, stuffed in, just in the passenger seat.
It's funny. So do you have back seats in your car?
No, I've got a 7-seater vehicle with the seats are flat and cages sit on the top of that. So I've got nothing. I've got front seats and then cages throughout the back.
Because I've got the Volvo and I've got this Trans K9.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
big one. But because the Volvo boot is so huge, the dogs can get in there with the crate. It's fantastic. So I've still got my back seat, which is really interesting because I also have to take a jump pen. Because I have to on 2 of the workshops, I have to build a jump pen.
Yeah.
So I've got this jump pen, which is like a huge kiddie's play pen, and it's a bit like Meccano, you slot all the bits in place.
Yeah.
And so I've got to take that as well. So I've got like dummies, dummy launchers, all of the stuff to train on the field, and then I've got this whacking great big jump pen to take as well, on top of workbooks. But I travel every day. It's only 45 minutes up the road, so I go up every day.
Yeah, well, at least I suppose if you need your jump pen on day 3, you can take it on day 3, can't you? Rather than load everything on day 1 sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. We have to take teas and coffees and notebooks and pens, and we like to give away some freebies and some, all sorts of stuff. So yeah, it's a lot of lugging about. Plus the banners for the room, all of that stuff.
Oh yeah. I quite often forget to take my banners.
Oh, do you know? Banners are on the list. I've got a standard list of what we take for workshops. Banners are on the top of that. We've got some lovely banners, so we're proud of them.
I've got this huge one. Huge, with the pet gun dog books on it at the back.
Well, you'll have to update that, won't you?
I haven't got manners on there, so I should get, you're right, I should get one with the well-mannered dog. The well-mannered dog, my latest book.
Your latest book that is now out for purchase on Amazon and every other whatever, isn't it?
And on Kindle.
On
Kindle as well.
Have you not recorded your audio book yet then?
No, I don't think I'll do it. I've got to cost a fortune to do the audio book for manners.
Oh, really? Don't want me to read it for you?
You can read it for me. I mean, it was really interesting doing the audiobook, like especially at school. That whole reading out loud to the class at school is awful, isn't it?
Oh, but that's horrible.
Horrible to do. So I was sitting there in this little sound room with my bins on, and you do it on your iPad. Yes, I'm sitting there with my bins, and there's an iPad, and you can almost hear yourself talking. And then through the window, there's the guy doing all the sound and the recording and the levels and everything.
Mm.
And I'd be chatting away, and he'd go, "Stop there," and you'd like stop mid-sentence if I think I pronounced a couple of words wrong. And then you have to go back, and he says, "Right, pick it up from here. Okay, are you ready? It's going to play." And then he'll play 5 words, and you have to pick it up on the sentence and continue going so that it's seamless.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it?
It was really, I mean, it was really interesting. It was really hard, and it was really expensive.
Well, I just
So
think it is. What a
I'm not
boring
doing
job for him, sitting listening to you reading your own book. I mean, that must be dull as anything,
He
mustn't it?
really enjoyed it. Thanks very much. There's a bit in the book where I talk about like smelly farts.
Yeah.
And he just burst out laughing. I thought, oh, I could hear him laughing, and I thought this is
Oh,
not distracting at all.
oh,
Yeah.
it's difficult, isn't it? I
Uh,
don't know how they do it on TV. You know, when the TV presenters are talking, they've got people talking in their ears because it's really difficult, isn't it, when you've got other stuff going on. I did a radio interview once, and when I had earphones on, and he asked me a question, and as he asked me the question, these people were talking in my ear. So it was so difficult because they were talking whilst I was supposed to be talking, and I took them off. I thought I can't do that.
you like your manners, your good manners is like you don't talk over the top of people, and so you stop talking, don't you? It's like
Well, I couldn't think. I can't. They were talking about something completely different in my head, and I didn't even know. I can't remember the question. Do you know? It's awful.
I
So
was
whip
on
them off.
Women's Hour on Radio 4 once, and
Who was that with
like
Jane Garvey?
did that again?
Jane Garvey.
Oh, I don't know. She was very funny. We were talking about whether dogs should be allowed on the bed or not, and it was with not Sarah Fisher, the other one, Sarah something. Can't remember. Anyway, there was me and there was another behaviourist on there, and we're talking about whether dogs should be allowed on the bed.
Hmm.
And it was really funny. The headphones weren't calibrated properly, so I was answering a question, and I'd say 2 words, and then I'd be saying myself. So like my words were coming back to me
Mm.
a couple of seconds after I was speaking them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was really distracting. It was awful.
No, it does
Did
because
not
you can't.
enjoy that. I prefer being on my phone if I'm on the radio.
Yeah, I don't mind going into the studio, but I can't sit with headphones on. That's
No.
no.
No, I think it was the headphones. The other times I've been on the radio, I've just been sitting on my phone chatting to them, which has been much nicer.
Yeah, I did a thing once. I did quite a bit
You
of
did a
radio.
thing once.
I did a thing
You did
once.
a thing.
No, I did. I used to go into the
Once.
studio quite a lot on BBC London, and I quite enjoyed that. But I did a
You went on with
telephone.
the girls, didn't you?
Yeah, I went on quite a bit, but I did a telephone thing with Vanessa Feltz at like 6 o'clock in the morning. So I had to get up early. And I'm not really good in the morning, and I forget how she ended. So we had our little telephone. I was on the phone, and she was asking me questions or whatever, and she said something like "a man, a few words" or something at the end of the thing, and I was like, "Give me a break! It's 6 o'clock in the morning. What do you want me to say to you?" I won't be doing that again at the unearthly times.
No, do it in the evenings instead.
Yeah, yeah,
The funniest interview that I had actually was in Auckland.
yeah.
Uh, I was doing a show, a kinesiology show, and this guy just came up and he put a mic in my face when I was busy doing a balance. I had a chat to him, and then he invited me onto his Saturday morning show, and I'd never heard of him. Hadn't been out that long, and I didn't know about this guy. And apparently, this guy was notorious for nailing people on the radio. You see,
Oh, nice.
but I didn't know this, and we started talking about kinesiology, and I was on for an hour. I was on this whole show for the whole hour. And we're talking about kinesiology, and then we started talking about we got onto religion, and I can't remember how we got onto it. But there was this big march in Melbourne that day, which I wasn't, not Melbourne, in Auckland that day that I wasn't aware of happening.
Mm.
and it was to do with this particular cult or sect, and they wore rings, and they wore the ring to say that they were going to stay virgins until they got married.
That's what I've got my rings on, yeah.
um, and I started getting myself into a hole, and bless him, he dug me out. He got me out. He literally reached down in the hole, grabbed my hand, and pulled me out.
Oh,
And
no.
which is amazing because, like, normally he would have buried the
Yeah,
person doing what I did, but yeah, I must have come across as being really honest and earnest,
yeah.
or naive and
Or
just
just a
not
bit fit.
knowing. Well, I am naive, but but he really helped me. And Kenny was down in the base because, like, I used to teach out the basement in the house, and Kenny was down in the basement listening. He was like, he had his head in his hands when I started
Oh,
going down the religion, talking about religion, and
no, there's no coming
no,
back from that, is there? Once you know,
really
stick to your
bad.
kinesiology, love. That's
I know.
stay
Thank
in your
goodness I don't have
lane.
to worry about religion with dogs, huh?
No, no, it's horrible when
Although
they try and
saying
catch
that,
you.
no, let's not go there.
So today we were talking about, before we start talking about religion, um, we were going to talk about multiple dog ownership, weren't we? And training multiple dogs, and whether people are thinking of, maybe if they've got a dog and thinking of getting another dog, or they've got two dogs and thinking of getting a third, or whatever, what the ramifications of that
Uh-huh.
might be. One of those we've just mentioned already is when you're traveling, taking 3 or 4 dogs with you is harder than taking one, isn't it? It takes up more
It
space, and
is.
you have to sneak into hotel rooms in the middle of the night. And
It's really, like, most people or most holiday companies really welcome one dog now.
mm,
And I mean, in Scotland, they're kind of welcome everywhere in Scotland. We've got the right to roam as well in Scotland. You can walk anywhere with your dog. You can walk anywhere without a dog as well. And two dogs, the hotels and Airbnbs and stuff are a lot more accommodating than they used to be if you've
yes,
got 2 dogs. But when you start going up to 3 dogs,
yeah,
then it can be quite pricey if you're paying per dog per night. It can get very expensive.
yeah.
Probably not as expensive as putting them into kennels,
No, probably not.
but and then
I
of
don't
course if
really.
you're not putting them in kennels, you don't have to worry about, like, the vaccinations and everything if you're not a vaccinator. Uh,
Yeah, I've I don't know why they have to charge per dog. I understand why they charge for dogs, because that incurs extra cleaning costs in case the next people that are in the hotel room or the holiday cottage or whatever it is are allergic to dogs. So the cleaning so we need to pay for that. I don't understand. There's no more cleaning involved behind 1 dog or 3 dogs, is there?
I wouldn't have thought so. But
Oh,
after COVID, everything's supposed to get deep cleaned anyway.
what still?
I think so.
During COVID, they used to leave the hotel rooms empty, didn't they, for like 24 hours and the cleaner would go in after 24 hours. And
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they have to do that, but I think the cleaning's supposed to be deep cleaning.
mm, it should be anyway, really, shouldn't it, for a hotel or
You'd
a,
think
you
so.
know,
You'd think
yeah,
so. But I mean, yeah, I think, like, traveling with dogs is much harder when you're traveling with more than one, or even one sometimes. But
yeah. Well, same with visiting family and friends and stuff, isn't it? If you've got a dog, it's probably quite welcome, I would have thought, with majority of people. I mean, some people don't want a dog in their house or whatever anyway, but I would think the majority of people taking a dog along with you is not a big deal, but taking 3 or 4, it's a whole nother, that's not, people don't want that.
I wouldn't take my dog to somebody else's house with me. That's not true because I brought them to yours, didn't I?
You brought them to mine, you took them to your friend's house and he pooed on the floor. I wouldn't
That's why I
do
don't do it. Once bitten, my twice. Why do you think I don't take them now? I
Yeah,
had Sticky Wig in your family room. I had Bart pooing in my mate's sitting room on his new carpet on Boxing Day.
yeah. Oh dear. No, I don't really take them. I used to. I mean, I used to take them like to my mum's and stuff,
Uh,
but I don't do. No, I don't really take them to people's houses now. No,
no.
I did. I did my good citizen test a couple of weeks ago, and as I came out of it was in a village hall. We did it, and as I came out, Okan just very quickly cocked his leg up the kind of table in the hallway. I just only a little dribble came out. I caught it quick, but yeah, amazing, isn't it? Just yeah, in an instant, there it is.
I know. Boys, huh?
Mm,
Boys.
yeah,
Yeah, so when would you recommend is a good time? When do you think is a good time to bring in a second dog? And what? Don't answer yet. I've got a list of questions in my head. No, go on. When would you recommend if people were looking to bring in another dog, when is the optimum time, do you think?
I think it's probably when you've got the existing dog trained to the level that you want or that you need. Um, I think 3 years age gap is quite nice because you've got um, excuse me for doing that. You've got a 3 year age gap, so you've got dogs that can be together and play, and you can exercise together because you haven't got an ancient dog and a young puppy and whatever. Um, so yeah, when your dog's trained really. What do you think?
I think three is a good age. They're physically mature. They should probably be mentally mature. Most breeds at three are well into being mentally mature.
Yeah,
Some breeds aren't, like the Goldies are really late to mature, but at three you should have done all the basic training. You should have everything in there. Not necessarily if you're doing competing, because that can take longer. But I think by the time you get to three, you'll have a really good relationship with the first dog and
yeah,
it'll be well trained. And you'll be ready for mentally, you'll be ready for another dog, I
yeah,
think. I think older than that, I think if you leave it too long and you bring a puppy in when you've got, like, say, an 8 or a 9 year old, then they miss out on a lot of play. I'm just thinking back, like with Dante and Emrys, and also make sure that your dog's fit and healthy as well. Bringing a
mhm,
dog in with a sick dog is always really difficult
mhm.
because they can't be bothered. Sometimes it'll give them a new lease of life, but a lot of the times they just can't be bothered.
Yeah, no, exactly. I'm always quite surprised when people have got an elderly dog, a real sort of elderly dog,
Uh-huh.
and they bring in a puppy, and understandably so, because they realise that this is not going to last forever. Um, but you can't subject an older dog. I mean, I had when I got Hugo, so he's 3 now. When I first had him, I had my little Pomeranian still, so she was 18.
Mhm.
Um, but they were kept apart. Do you know? I can't. Can't subject an 18-year-old Pomeranian to an 8-week-old Rottweiler, can you?
Not really.
So it was fine because I can manage that and the way that I live my life and whatever that it's not a big deal for me. But you can't. These people that go and get a puppy and expect their poor old 15-year-old dog to cope with it. That's not really cool, is it? I don't
No,
think.
no. And people go, "Oh, the dog will train the puppy." But if you don't look after the older dog, then it'll nail the puppy. It
Yeah.
won't train it, it'll nail it.
No, exactly. It's horrible. But I think, I mean, I know you like I mean, I think quite similar in raising puppies that equally we don't have free access to the adult dogs anyway.
No, definitely not.
Don't just come in with your puppy. Here you are, dog. There's a puppy. Get on with it and play.
Yeah, yeah, train this puppy to do everything
Yeah.
that you know. Go on, just like osmosis, train this puppy.
Yeah. Teach that not to pee in the kitchen, please.
Yeah, it is difficult when you decide to go up to another dog. Um, would you have a preference as to the same sex again or a different sex?
Oh, what? When you're bringing another dog in?
Bringing another dog in?
Always go for a dog of the opposite gender is the sensible thing to do. Obviously, there's less chance of conflict when you have, a male and a female together. realize that I'm saying that to the owner of 2 or 3, male dogs, and
Real
I will
dogs.
have several male dogs and whatever. But typically, best practice would be to get a dog of the opposite gender. Do you agree with that?
I do agree with that.
Despite the fact you go against
Despite the
that.
fact that I've got a house of male dogs, yes, I would agree with that. And you've got a house of male dogs now as well, haven't you?
I do have male dogs. I've always had lots of male dogs. I prefer males actually. So, but yeah, I yes,
Yeah, I prefer the boys too. Thank you. I
yeah.
prefer the boys. I think I just like the head. I think they've got a stronger head and a stronger temperament and bigger bodies. So they work
I
for me.
think I mean they to me the males of any breed look nicer. Um, Although small dogs, I quite like the females because they're smaller and more. Do you know what I mean? If you're getting a small dog, you get a small one. Do you know what I mean? They're kind
Yeah,
of
I do.
smaller and more refined. Whereas if you're getting a big dog, then you want a big dog, don't you? So
You want a big dog?
the males are definitely more impressive in the majority of breeds, I think.
I think if you like big dogs, then you would be more inclined to go towards the male
Mm.
for that reason, for
Yeah,
that reason.
yeah, I think so. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I just
Um,
prefer the temperament. And what about puppy versus adolescent versus adult versus old? Because sometimes people want to bring in an older dog, or that they want to give like an old dog a home.
I think it all very much depends on your existing setup, doesn't it? And your existing dogs. I mean, I had do you remember little Joey I had, that ancient Jack Russell?
No.
He was so sweet. His owner was taken into a care home and he was a Jack Russell about 20 years old.
Oh.
And the lovely daughter of this lady that was decided to put him in kennels, in boarding kennels.
Oh my God.
At
What did
20,
he
he'd
do
been
that?
yeah, he'd been literally living on this woman's bed, weeing himself on the bed. So I had
Oh,
him come here, and I had 4 other dogs at the time. But the other dogs were cool. You know what I mean? He wasn't interested in the other dogs. They weren't fussed about him, so everybody rubbed along fine. But I think it all very much depends on your social group, doesn't it? And certainly, if you got like entire male something or other, you probably wouldn't be looking to bring in another entire male something or other as an adult, would you?
no. No, that would really upset the apple cart.
Mm. Yeah,
Potentially. Potentially upset the
potentially.
apple
Yeah,
cart.
with a lot of the dogs, I mean, that wouldn't be, yeah, a wonderful idea to do, would it?
No.
People do all sorts of stuff, don't they? They defy all sorts of common sense advice and do what they want to do and get away with it. But best practice, again, we wouldn't be doing that.
Best practice, don't do that. Don't bring home an entire meal
No.
and bring it into a house of entire meals because it's just hard work, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really hard work.
Yeah, I
So
think so.
we mentioned about exercise. If you've got an
Yeah.
older dog and a puppy,
Mm,
it's really important to not walk them together, isn't it?
yeah. I think any dog that you've got, any age dog, it's really important that you don't walk them together until your youngster is at least, I don't know, 7, 8 months at least. And the reason for that, the reason that I suggest it is so because the dog needs to learn its own kind of build its own confidence out and about and encounter things without the support of the other dogs and stuff, and equally to learn develop its own character and bond with you and want to be with you and not want to be with the other dogs instead of you, which is
Mhm.
really unhelpful for anything you want to do with your dog onwards, isn't it?
Yeah. And you want them, when you give a command, you want the dog to look to you straight away and not look to see what the other dog's doing.
Yeah,
Because then it's
exactly.
deferring to the dog rather than deferring to you.
Yeah.
And for me as well, it's also anatomically because we don't want to overwalk a young dog because
No.
of the growth plates. We don't want to overtire the dog.
No. See, I mean, puppies don't need exercise other than what they do around your home and garden.
Uh-huh.
But they do need to, the purpose of taking your puppy out is for socialization to see life, isn't it? So
Uh-huh.
you don't need to be wandering about with your old dog through empty fields. You need to be going having coffee and popping to the pub for lunch or sitting outside in the car at supermarket or whatever. Do you know what I mean? That's what you need to be doing. You don't need to be going off for walks, do you? You need your little bits of training and your social excursions so that the puppy sees all aspects of life.
Yeah, and learns for those short periods of time when it is on the ground to walk on the sled.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're pounding the pavements with, oh, this is a what's it, no, alliteration, you're pounding the pavements with your puppy. Sorry, I'm still in author mode. But you know what I mean, if you're like pounding the pavement with your pup,
Yeah.
then you're not going to be focused on like training, loose lead walking, getting attention when you're out there, sitting
No.
doing nothing, which is my favorite thing,
Yeah.
standing in the street, leaning on a lamppost, doing nothing, watching the world go by. And they're the
But
important.
when you've got your puppy with you, or that's just kind of what you do,
Oh no, it's just me on my own. Just for the hell of it.
leaning on lampposts. Yeah, I
Leaning on
know.
lamppost, yeah. But they're the important things to do with your youngster.
No, they are definitely. No, I saw a client not that long ago with a young puppy. I won't mention the breed because I don't want to, but a large breed dog, but a puppy, and she was walking it like for an hour and a half or whatever a day, like this little puppy, and it was aggressive. That's why it was aggressive to them, particularly in the evening. I'm like, it is exhausted. What are you doing?
Yeah.
It's probably in
And
pain as
so
well. Yeah, don't, yeah, stop doing that.
And yeah, I've seen lots of cockers like that where because the cocker's got that high
Mm,
buzzing energy. Like, oh, I'll just walk it and walk it and walk it. And then they end up with a super fit, exhausted, pain, like sore puppy
yeah,
who the second you go near it, it just bites.
yeah,
It's just after you.
yeah. No, exactly. Well, you find that kind of that overtiredness, overstimulation. It's the
Mhm,
same with kids, isn't it? They get overtired and horrible.
mhm.
And,
You
you're
do,
better off to
definitely.
have, enforced kind of rest and things so that the puppy can develop and grow. I mean, puppies need an awful lot of sleep, don't they? They sleep a
Yeah.
lot. And well, they don't unless you kind of facilitate that. Do you know what I mean? They go over the top, don't they? So you need to create, those rest times and then your play times and your
Mhm,
feed times and your popping out times and all of that.
mhm. And then if you've got another dog, because we're talking about multiple dogs, you then have to coordinate your time with your existing dog as well, don't you?
Yeah,
So that their training doesn't slip, so that they don't feel pushed out by the puppy, because the last thing you want to do is create any kind of conflict where the older dog's getting jealous and then wants to go for the new dog. Um, and you've got to have that lovely bonding time with your existing dog as well, haven't you?
yeah, you definitely have. I mean, I was talking to a colleague the other day and he said, he made a comment that when you have more than one dog, that your relationship with that dog, with your dogs, whatever, is not going to be as strong as if you had one. And I thought, no, I don't agree with that actually, because I have with my dogs, I tend to have one-to-one time with them and stuff. I don't think that I have a different relationship with them with each of them. You know what I mean? If I just had one of any of them, I don't think my relationship would be any different with them than it is having three. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm, mhm.
What do you think? You've got a poker face. What do you think?
I did have a poker face. I was
Yeah.
thinking that was my thinking
Not
face.
giving anything away.
No, I was thinking. No, I agree because I can remember you saying to me, "Oh, it's really odd how you'll just go out with one dog and leave the dog at home."
Did I
Do you
say
remember?
that to you?
Yeah, you did. That's what probably I was thinking. When did he say that? Because I would just go off for the day with the dog and leave a dog at home
Yeah.
and go off and do some training. Whereas you would put them all in the car, but then take
Yeah.
one out of the car.
Yeah.
Whereas I wouldn't actually put the dog in the car.
Yeah. I
Going
would
off, and
take
I would
that.
leave the dog at home.
Yeah.
Um, and I think because I thought that when I had Bart and Angus, but I handled it really badly. So, as you know, Angus became Bart's dog for a little while
Yeah.
because he was such a nightmare puppy. I kind of threw my hands up in despair and said, "Look, if you're not gonna bark when we're with Bart, then you can be with Bart," because he used to bark all the time when I
Mm.
first brought him home. And I think I learned a lot from that, as you do. And so I then split. I should have split them up sooner. But going forward, every dog I've had them separate, and
Yeah.
I've done everything individually with them. It's tiring. And especially if you've got, 3 dogs, because then you want to have one-to-one time with the oldest dog that you got, then one-to-one time with the next dog, and then you want to have one-to-one time with a new dog. And you then all of a sudden you're just divvying your time up between all the dogs. But I think if you don't do that, your relationship isn't as good as it would be if you only had one dog. And I think when you bring a new dog in, it's really important that you do it with all of the dogs in the house. Then you can kind of put them together and not lose the relationship you've got with them. But I think any kind of change to the pack or any change to the pack dynamics, you need to go through having that individual time with all the dogs again.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah. No, it is. And if you don't put the individual time in, then things change, the dynamics change, don't they? And equally, like your puppy, I see a fair few people that have a couple of dogs, like say you throw a ball or a toy or whatever for the dogs, one dog will chase that object and the other dog will chase the dog chasing the object, which for training and stuff you don't want, do you? Do you know what I mean? I use a lot of toys and stuff with my dogs and whatever. I want the dog to be into the play with me, not chasing another dog who's chasing a thing, because that's more fun.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And I do, as well as doing individual things with the dogs, I do it together, but individually. That didn't make sense at all, did it? So I will take both the dogs out and I'll put one in a downstairs sit stay and I'll play with one dog in front of the other dog.
Yeah.
And then I'll swap them over. And again, that, it's really good for steadiness, but it's also really good for bonding as well. Because they're like, oh, it's nearly my turn, it's nearly my turn.
Yeah.
And they get really excited when it's their turn to come and play with you because you're the important person in the relationship.
It's nice. That brings me on to another point, really. I remember when I was a kid, I used to go to, you mentioned before, Aylesbury German Shepherd Training Club.
Yes.
And obviously they used to say to you, you've got to train one dog at a time. Obviously you used to have, that's right. So we still say that.
Yeah.
But there was never a point when you have multiple dogs, there was never a point when they would tell you what to do. Okay, you've trained one dog, you've trained the other dog.
How do you put them together?
When does that happen? Do you know what I mean? Yes, of course you don't take 2 dogs to a blinking training class and try and teach them both to sit. That ain't going to happen, is it? But you do that individually. At what point do you bring them together and start, communicating with them both? Do you know what I mean? Or 3 of them or whatever.
Was that a question for me?
Yeah, question. Yeah.
Okay.
Question mark.
I thought you were just kind of rambling. Okay, so when definitely not under 6 months when I start putting them together. So the first thing I do is put them together for my lead walks. And once I've got a dog walking really nicely on a loose lead, when they're about 6 months old, then I'll think about putting them with the other dog for really short walks. And what I do in the meantime is I put the older dog on my right hand side. So I start off with my dog on my right, the older dog on my right, and I bring the youngster in on my left. And I just my older dog can kind of just mosey along beside me, and then I work on the young dog walking to heel where I've got a dog on the right. And then when that's working really well, I'll bring the older dog around to my left hand side. Yeah, but I'll have both the leads in separate hands. I'll always have my youngster on my right hand and my older dog on the left, and then I can communicate to the youngster separately from my older dog. So if he needs a check or if he needs, I need to use the lead to communicate, then I've still got that one-to-one communication with the dog rather than holding both the leads in my left hand. And then I will put the youngster on my right, so he learns to walk on either side with the dog. So they should. So by the time he's a year old, he should walk on either side with any dog beside him or opposite. But especially because I have boys, it helps remove the competition. Yes, yeah. And so I always start with them one on either side of me, and then bring them across and swap sides, and it reinforces that I'm calling the shots on the walk. The dogs aren't deciding where they're walking, who's ahead, who's not ahead. And so I do that with them. That's the first exercise that I do with them. But I always have the leads in separate hands when they're young. Yeah, no, it's nice because it's still kind of
you still got, although they're together, you're still dealing with them separately, aren't you? Know what I mean? It's still,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
definitely.
communicating with each dog, which is kind of, I suppose, the foundation that sets that up for success is what you've already done in the house, is that you've had this one-to-one time with the dogs,
Yeah.
and then, carefully considered at what point you're gonna go through a process of bringing them together and
Mhm.
getting
What do
on
you
with.
do?
No, I've no idea. Do you know what? You just reminded me when you were saying about holding the leads in separate hands. Do you remember when we went for a walk years ago? You said to me, "Oh, you hold your leads like reins." Because I had, however, I was holding
Yeah,
so that I could
yeah,
move my
because
hand.
you want a horsey person, you want a horsey
No,
man. And I think,
no.
oh, you hold the reins, hold the leads how I would hold my reins. And I do the same. I have them in different,
Well, because then you can literally, you've got one
you
dog
can
and you can talk.
communicate.
Yeah, you can move your hand. I don't know. I don't do that now. I don't think. No, I don't. I don't do anything really as structured as you. I'm not as good as you. Um, I suppose I just play it all by ear really, and when I'm kind of um, yeah, I suppose happy with the dog, then I just bring them sort of both together and do some stuff. But I tend to do like you really. I'll have one laying down or whatever while I'm doing a little bit of stuff with the other dog and things.
Yeah.
So I've got a little bit more. So I don't just go for a walk. I'll go out and we'll do, a little bit on the lead, and then one of them will lay down or something, and I'll do a little bit of something with the other one, and then swap over and stuff like that, and then
Uh-huh.
bring them back in. But it's really important to teach their names and stuff, isn't it? So that they know which one you're talking to. And I realized actually with this little pack I've got at the minute, when I was away a few months ago, I was in a hotel room and I had like three beds on the floor, and I wanted like two of them on the. I was feeding them in the hotel, and I
Mhm.
wanted two of them on the bed and not the third. And they're all excited, obviously food time, and it was yeah. I'm like, I'm not sure, not sure they're getting this.
Not
Not
sure if these guys
sure.
know the name.
Yeah, not sure they got their names going on right now. So I did a bit of work on that after that because you know what I mean? I just thought, no, this is all just they were all very like confused. They were like, no, on your bed, and I'm going to get off. And so,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, it takes a lot. I used to do quite a lot of that with other previous groups of dogs that I've had. Do you know what I mean? So they wouldn't act on anything until their name was presented before it, so
Mhm.
to speak. So if you're doing recalls and stuff, you could like, sit your dogs and call one at a time and stuff like that. Whereas you have to teach that, don't you? It's a kind of a process
Yeah.
that you go through.
Yeah, and I do that. I do a lot of that in the garden in the house.
Mm,
I tend to play a game with them where all the dogs are on the bed, and then I throw a toy, and I choose which dog gets it.
yeah,
I
cool.
do a lot of that with them,
Yeah,
and that I do that from when they're
yeah.
quite young, 6, 7, 8 months is when I start the game, so that they learn they don't get it unless they're on the bed lying down, and then they get the toy, they
Mm.
get the retrieve.
It's a funny concept, isn't it? Like dogs' names. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, we name them because we do. But it's strange what the meaning that it has for them. And I often think, like when they know when I say their name, they know that's them.
Uh-huh.
Do you know what I mean? But I think I just, do you know, I
Funny
don't even know what I'm trying
concept.
to say. You are. It's a funny
It's a funny
concept.
concept.
It
I mean,
is.
oh, we're getting all philosophical again.
Oh, I know where we talked. No, but I just thought
Um,
the other day. Yeah, go on. You say something.
no,
'Cause I'm
no,
not
go
making a
on.
lot of
Go on. It
sense.
is funny. Go on. Go
No, I'm
on.
not making any sense. You go. You say something.
No, I think but I mean, a name is a humanism, isn't it? So, like,
Yeah.
for the dog, it could just be oi,
Yeah.
you, anything. It could be. You could call it blue, but then when we call it blue, the blue becomes the name, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's a strange
You
thing
can
because
have them on a whistle, and like I use the whistle a lot in training, and so there's no reason why I couldn't like have a particular pitch of a whistle, and only ever use that when I'm referring to a certain dog. So then that dog's name would be a
a
certain whistle.
sound. But then everything that we teach, like I'm always saying to our students and stuff, all dog training, all we're teaching, all we're doing all the time,
Is
whatever
this
we're teaching, is teaching
sound association?
a sound with an action, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
You can say sit, you can say down, you can say banana, you can say custard. It's the action that accompanies that the dog makes the link with that sound equals that action, brings about a reward or not a reward or whatever. But to teach a name, it doesn't, because we use the name all the time, don't we? Like, oh, can't come, oh, can't get out, oh, can't. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of,
It's a heads up, isn't it?
yeah, it's like an attention gathering thing, isn't it? But
Yeah.
actually, it's not
But there's a reward for it if the dog looks at you. So if you think back to when it's a puppy and you're training its name, you know, sometimes you do it on a sweetie. So you might go Ross, and as soon as you look at me, I'd give you a sweetie. And then it would be the same. You would say Ross, like, oh hiya, you know, it's like all love coming out your eye, strokes and kisses and stuff. And so the dog then gets a dopamine hit because
Yeah.
the woman fuzzy when we say its name. So you say its name and it thinks, well, if I look at you, there might be a reward coming.
Yeah.
And the next thing starts.
Yeah. Well, I suppose it's just, oh, there's that sound again. When I hear that, something happens.
I mean, you could do it on smell, couldn't you? You could have like a little puffer of something and just go, and the dog would look at you.
Yeah,
Whenever
you could
it's like the scent work, isn't it? Whenever you condition it to a scent, whenever it finds a scent, it gets a warm and fuzzy because it's been conditioned to find the scent.
Yeah, that's all we're doing with the name, isn't it? But I suppose, like anything, we use names across, it's like in every context, isn't it? Like, you know, Okan goes and opens the gate in the middle of the garden. So of course I'm like, if I'm at the kitchen window, I'm like, Okan. You know, it's like a negative. Do you know what I mean? And it's kind of, you use it in various, like you would with people, but it's kind of, you know, it doesn't always have a positive. The use of the name doesn't always.
Do you always pull that face as well?
Yeah, probably. Press my nose against the window.
But then you've conditioned the dog to the sound, the facial expression, and the tone.
Yeah, it is that.
All body language, it's everything. It's like you kind of when you do that, you're moving towards the dog. You'll have like a puff of adrenaline coming off you, and
I suppose, to be honest with you, the name it's a different sound, isn't it? Because the different accompaniment. So actually, when you say that your dog's name in a nice kind of, you know, Angus come or whatever, it's a different sound. So when you shout, so actually, for all intents and purposes, it's a different word, isn't it? I mean, I was sort of teaching like marker word conditioning with a girl recently, and she was teaching when she was conditioning the word, she was using yes. When she was conditioning the word, she was like yes, 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 and then when she was actually trying to use it in training,
going yes,
like, yes. And I'm like, that's not what you've just taught, love, is it? You know what I mean? It's not. It's the same word in English that we speak. But that's not the sound. The dog wasn't. She said, "Oh, I don't think he's getting this." I'm like, "Well, you're using a completely different sound. Do you know what I mean? Conditions one sound, now you're using another. It's the same word." So I guess it's the same with the name.
It's so easy to do because, like, when your dog's doing something right, you want to go, "Oh yeah, that was good," and you want to like yes, rather than yes. You know. And but then that's the word, isn't it? That you're conditioning, so you have to do it the same way.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess people don't think about it. I mean, you wouldn't know unless somebody else pointed it out to you. You'd be like, well, this isn't working, is it?
No, I've had it pointed out to me a couple of times that obedience. What's your marker word? What's your click word?
Yeah.
That's not what you've just done. Okay.
No. Well, I think as a species, we have quite a job being consistent, don't we? People generally.
Terribly inconsistent.
Yeah, I think we do find it difficult. So, are there any negatives to having multiple dogs?
Oh yeah, loads.
Money, cost,
loads, money, space, time,
mess,
guilt,
hair.
mess. Yeah. We've done money. It's like restricted. Oh, sorry.
Bless you.
But that was from my boots. Now in the kitchen. I mean, time really, it's time management, isn't it? And energy, you know, like honestly, the older you get, the less energy you've got. You have to be much more efficient in your training.
Well, I wouldn't know about that.
Yeah, you're so young. Yeah, but I think they are lots of negatives. You know, it's a lot more expensive.
It is a
And
lot.
when you first bring them together, when you go from 1 to 2 dogs, it's not double the work. It's probably quadruple the work to start off with.
Yeah,
Um, and then going up to 3 isn't triple the work. I didn't
no.
think going from I didn't think going I think going from 2 to 3 wasn't as big a leap as going from 1 to 2.
No, the more you have, I mean, if you've got 9 dogs and you get a tenth, it's not a big deal, is it? Do you know what, by that point? But it's when you've got, I always say to people that are considering getting another dog, I mean, having one cockapoo jumping about, trying to grab a lead when you're going for a walk, jumping about in the hallway, getting all excited, spinning around, whatever, that's probably bearable. That's all right. When you've got two of them doing it, that
Ugh.
really does up the level of Jesus. I can't get a lead on either of the dogs now.
And when you've got 3 doing it,
You've got three cockapoos whirling around your hallway. Yeah, that's yeah, a whole nother level of crazy, isn't it?
yeah, it is. So I think there are negatives, but um, I think because both of us have got multiple dogs, I think it's safe to say they don't outweigh the benefits.
No, I don't think they do. I mean, I find, I don't really know why I've got so many. Well, I don't. Well, I think it's nice. I mean, you've got to do what you want to do, haven't you? I mean, I wouldn't like to have just one dog primarily because if anything happened to that dog,
Well,
you wouldn't have any,
empty house.
which, oh, that would be horrific. No, I couldn't cope with that. So, no, it's nice. I like having multiple dogs, but there are, it is a massive consideration. You need a vehicle that can accommodate them, depending on the size. I mean, you've got three Yorkers, it's not
Yeah.
such a big deal, is it? But you've got three big dogs, four big dogs. You need a vehicle that can accommodate your house needs to be big enough, or, if you move in house, that's a massive consideration. I've been looking at houses and stuff lately, and you think, oh, can't fit three Rottweilers in that. So,
I know
the
it.
big,
Yeah, it's a big consideration.
yeah.
Cost is a huge consideration.
Yeah, it is with your pet insurance, your food, veterinary fees, everything. If you go away and you have kennels or you have carers in your home or whatever it is, that
Yeah,
increases all the cost, doesn't it? It is a big
definitely.
commitment.
It is. It's huge.
And
Um,
time as well. Time is a thing.
time is the big thing,
Mm,
and most people like if there was an emergency and you had to leave your dog with somebody, most people would take 1 dog, possibly 2. When you
mm.
start getting 3 or 4 dogs,
No.
then you can't just leave them with somebody. You have to make a massive amount of arrangement beforehand.
Yeah. No, you do. You do. But it's good fun, isn't it? It's good fun. And it's nice. The only another downside I think a little bit is that from my point, me personally, I probably don't do enough with the dogs individually. I feel a bit guilty about. I don't do enough. Like I would like to do working trials with Okan, and I would like to do some kind of scent or something like that with Hugo. And do you know what I mean? But I don't do enough with them really. So you never quite get as high as you could get because you don't do enough because your time's separated.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
yeah, just definitely. And I mean, I'm like that. Dante, I'm playing at doing obedience with him. I mean, he's nearly 10.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna push him to perfection, for competing, but I will take him in the ring, just have a bit of fun with them. But
yeah,
like that with Emrys, I mean, the clubs near me, I'm in 2 really great dog clubs, and they're both obedient.
yeah,
And dogs is my passion.
yeah,
So I want to train the dogs to do both. So I go out and have fun doing gun dog training with them. I go down to the borders now and again to see Joel and do gun dog stuff with him. Um, but it's nice when you're training a dog, it's nice to be part of a community when you're
Well, I
training at a
think
high level. I think when you're training at a high level, you do need that community there.
I think motivationally, it depends on the person. Unfortunately, I'm not like I look at what people do with their dog, or some people do nothing today, but I look at people that are competing regularly and things like that. I think, oh, I wish I was doing that. But I'm not that person that goes out every day, come rain or shine, and practices and does stuff. I'm,
No, no.
too lazy. And I do need, if I'm training for a competition or whatever, I need other people. I need a time. We're
Yeah.
training at 10 o'clock Tuesday morning at this
Yeah.
place, be there. And then I'll go and I love it and I really enjoy it when I go there.
Yeah.
But I'm not that, or I'll just go out today and do,
Yeah.
a search square, or I'll do a bit. Very occasionally I'll do that, but it's not enough to achieve what I want. Do you know what I mean? It's not, I need
Yeah. No,
the
I do, and I do a bit in the garden, I do a bit in the kitchen as well. I mean, normally when my coffee machine's on, I'll do a little bit of heel work or a bit of touch or
do you? Yeah, see, I don't
yeah,
need
I
that.
do. But I mean, luckily we've got quite a big garden, so I've got things set up in the garden for training. And you go out and you go, why have you got that in the middle of the garden for training? Um, and when it's nice, which at the minute is really hard to get out there, then I will nip down and do 5 minutes training with the dog in the garden. And I come back feeling great, I feel really exhilarated by it
Mm,
and refreshed. But I do I do need that community to keep me going because I'm I'm quite hard on myself in relation to training.
yeah.
And I need somebody just to say, just back off a bit. But then with the gun dog stuff, I just love it. I find it such good fun. Um, and if there was a good community around me, gun dog wise, I would probably be doing that.
It's nice to have some input from other people as well, because like we were saying, sometimes you do things and you don't really realize what you're doing until you see yourself on film or until someone says to you,
Yeah,
no wonder the dog doesn't jump. Do you realize every time you try and get the dog to jump, you do X, Y, or Z? And you're like, no, I didn't know that. Do
yeah,
you know what I mean? You need a little bit of input, don't you? Or to put your heads together and be like, do you know what? I'm trying to get the dog to present this article or whatever, and it keeps dropping it or whatever. And it's handy to have you tried this? Have you tried that? What about
yeah.
if you do this? Or
And it's nice learning a new discipline because you're stepping outside your comfort zone, aren't you? I mean, I've been training gun dogs for like 20 year, 20 year, and to learn obedience and go back and learn obedience again since it's all changed is it's great for me because it means that I'm learning. I'm learning more about training all the time,
nice, nice.
and the people who I train with, they're all judges.
No,
So
it's cool. It's nice because you learn different stuff, don't you? Like, and you can utilize that. Like if you're teaching like more sort of close, precise heel work or something like that, some of those things you can utilize that transfers across to your gun dog training for when you're doing other things. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of
well, I mean, it
awesome.
has because if you remember, I adapted the cone when I did the puppy book,
Yeah,
which was the send away. I adapted the send away to train the dogs to stop on the whistle at distance,
yeah.
which is now loads of people are doing it. And there's all these videos on YouTube going, look what I've developed. It's like actually that came out in one of the books. Um, and there's a lot of stuff that I do in the gun dog world that has come directly from my days when I did obedience years ago, and also a bit of search and rescue as well.
Mm. I think it is. I mean, like I say to our students and stuff quite often, I mean, dog training is dog training, isn't it? Training a gun dog is not different to training a search dog, is not different to training.
No.
What you're training it to do is different,
Yeah.
but you're still having to think quite a lot and puzzle out, this is what I want the dog to do, this is what the outcome is.
How
How
do
do
I
I
achieve
get
it?
from this to that? And I think
Mhm.
that's the fun stuff of training, isn't it? Is that, like let's say for example, like you want to teach a prolonged hand touch or something. People are like, oh, I can't, the dog
Yeah.
just only touches my hand for that. You're like, okay, well, let's try this, or let's try, oh, that didn't work. Okay, what about, let's have a think. Do you know what I
Mhm.
mean? And I think the
Mhm.
more training disciplines you do, the more tools you've got to kind of pull out the bag when
Yeah,
you
definitely.
encounter training issues or whatever.
Definitely. I think that was one of the many reasons that the pet gun dog has been so successful
I didn't
because
think it had.
very good. And I mean everybody's jumping on it. All the trainers are jumping on pet gun dog training now. You wouldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Like you can't walk down the road without falling over a pet gun dog trainer. Um, but it's bringing in so much. It's like it's moved away from the old style gun dog training. It's brought in fun. It's and there's so much pet stuff in there as well,
Mm,
you know. And I think that wouldn't have happened had I not have been trained in different disciplines.
yeah.
If I hadn't done agility, if I hadn't done search and rescue, if I hadn't competed in obedience, because that's where it's all kind of pulled together in that one thing. So it's not like pure gun dog training, but it's fun.
Yeah, and it's kind of holistic, isn't it? Because you have
It's
to
very holistic.
you have to understand training and different training methods to do any kind of training, don't you? Like, I mean, a lot of scent work and stuff. I mean, that's really exploded, isn't it, over the last 5 years or more, whatever.
Yeah.
And I get the components. Once you understand how to condition scent or whatever, there's still loads of components of training that you need to bring into that. Because you
Yeah.
need to, you need to get the dog to indicate, how are we going to work on an indication? The dog understands that that scent brings a reward. Now we've got to teach it to search for it. Now we've got to teach it to indicate. Now we need a prolonged indication.
Mhm.
That doesn't come from scent work training. That comes from all your other training background that
Absolutely.
enables you to work through a process of, okay, the dog's not, it's not indicating the scent long enough. We can't detect where it is. So how do we work on that? So yeah, I think that's important. Am I going around in circles? I feel like I'm talking.
Yes, you are. You are.
Yeah, I
Are
think
we going to get back to multiple dogs here, or what?
I don't know. I think it's about time we call it a day, isn't it?
Oh, you must be getting old, Ross.
I feel a little bit,
You
out
repeat
of
yourself.
it. Well, repetition's good for learning, isn't it?
Rote learning, definitely. Repetition is very good for learning.
That's good.
Did you know? Did you know, Ross?
What?
Repetition is really good for learning. Oh dear, we're getting silly. On that note, should we? I think so.
Yeah, let's go. I'm sure that's been incredibly helpful for anybody considering getting another dog, and maybe we'll revisit that subject at another time as well.
I think so, without going round in circles.
Yeah, we'll have a script next time.
No, don't be daft. Until next time.
Enjoy Scotland.
Thank you. Enjoy London. Take it steady.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. It's not just gun dogs and not just guard dogs, but all things canine, as we hope you have discovered. Please like, share and subscribe and help us spread a bit of common sense back into dog ownership. And a review wouldn't go amiss either. Catch up with Lez and Ross again in about 14 days for more canine conversations. Until next time, stay well and enjoy your dogs. Any dog-related questions or topics, just drop an email to talk@cfba.uk or message us via facebook.com/Gundogs and Guard Dogs podcast.